Alright, let's do this review real fast. Alright, so first 4 questions on the review talked about percent of change. So anytime your problem involves percent of change, your part to whole is change compared to the original. Okay, so what that means is we have to determine what the change is. So we're going to have to subtract one number from the other. So 80 minus 56 is 24. So our amount of change is 24 compared to the original amount, which was 80. That's equal to some percent, solving for a percent out of 100. Okay. Once you have a proportion, then we're just cross multiply and divide. So 24 times 100 is 2400 divided by 80. It's the number we didn't just multiply. We have an extra 0 on both of these. So you can say 8 goes into 24 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24, which gives us nothing left over, but we still have a place value here. So we say this is a 30%, and then we want to know increase or decrease. So since it's going from 80 to 56, that's going down. That is a decrease. And that's percent of change. Okay. So let's do it again. So we have change over original. And then so we find the difference between the two. So we have 36.8 minus 32. Line up our decimals. Oh, hello. Then we subtract. This is 8, and then 6 minus 2 is 4. 3 minus 3 is nothing. So our change is 4.8. Our original amount is 32. That's equal to, and percent of change is always x over 100 on the right side. So again, we cross multiply. So 4.8 times 100. Just move this over 2 places. That gives us 480 divided by 32. So 32 goes into 48 one time. 48 minus 32 is 16. And then 32 goes into 160 exactly 5 times. So this is a 15%, and this time it's going from 32 to 36, so that is an increase. Numbers getting bigger. No, it's 4.8, not 48. That's why it's 480. Decimal place in the original number. Alright, so the third one, this one is a little bit different because of what the change is. Excuse me. So change of original, or I get ahead of myself. Original. So we subtract the two numbers. So we have 60 minus 28.5. Notice it doesn't matter which one comes first. When we're subtracting, it's always just the bigger number goes on top. So we borrow here. So this is going to be 5. It's going to be a 9 and 10. So we have 5, 1, 3. So our amount of change is 31.5. But compared to our original, which was 28.5, is less than what the change was. So since it's improper, we're actually going to end up with a percentage over 100. And that's okay. So we're going to cross multiply. This is the hardest one on here. That's okay. So 31.5 times 100. Again, we just move the decimal 2 places over. So that's 3150. This is for the test tomorrow. Make sure you know how to do percents and proportions. So since we ended up with a decimal on the outside, we can move this over 1 place. And then we move this over one place and add a 0. And then we just say how many times can 31, or no, how many times can 285 go into 31,500? And find out that the answer is not C, because this isn't multiple choice. So 285 can't go into 3, can't go into 31, goes into 315 one time. So that's 285. So we subtract this as 0, and then 3. And then 285 goes into 300, that's 1 again. Alright, so 285 times 1 is 285. And then when we subtract 300 minus 285 is 115. Bring down the 0. 285 cannot go into 150, so we put a 0 here. And then we can keep going if we want. And so this one, I think that's 7 times. Let's find out. 285 times 7. So that's 5, 3, 59, 14. Oh no, that's too much. So why did I put... let's try 6. I forgot how I rounded this earlier. That's 51, 12, 17. Okay, so that's a little bit too much. This is actually going to be 5. Alright, it's a little bit less than that. And since it's 110.5, if we just wanted to round this off, we could just call this 111%. What am I doing? Oh, 28.5 to 60 is going up, so that's an increase. Okay. And then our last one here. So again, keep on practice this till we never forget. Change over original. So subtract our numbers. 124 minus 53. This is 1. 12 minus 5 is 7. So we have a change of 71 compared to our original of 124 equals x over 100. We cross multiply. 71 times 100 is 7100 divided by 124. So 124 can't go into 7, can't go into 71, goes into 710. I wrote down 5 times. That would be 620. And then we subtract this, that would be 90. And then I wrote down that 125 goes into 900. Let's try 7 times. So this is 8, 2, let's see, 16, 868. Perfect. Ish. Okay. So we have a little bit left over. So if we wanted to keep going, 124 going to 320 about 2 times. So 57.2, or we could just round that off and call it a 57%. It's going down, decrease. And that's percent of change. Nice and easy. That took us 8 minutes. Okay. Let's try to go faster on the next part. So total cost, the nearest cent. Okay, so we're finding total cost. So this time we're not solving for a percent, we're solving for an amount. So x is going to be on the left-hand side. So in this case, we're talking about the percentage we have, 6.25 over 100. And that represents tax. So part of our key here should be tax. And we're getting taxed on our coat, or what we're buying. Let's call it coat, why not? Okay. So what do we know about the coat? We know it costs $65. So we don't know how much that tax is, we call it X. So again, we have a proportion that we can cross multiply. So these are actually a little bit easier because the hard part is the multiplying, and then dividing by 100 is pretty easy. So what's 6.25 times 65? So this is 25 and then 12, and then 31. And then when we go to our second number, bring down a 0. We just do it again. So 6 times 5 is 30. 3 up top. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15. 1. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 1 more is 37. So we add these up. So 5, 2, 6, 10, 4. And we have 2 decimal places up top here, none in the bottom, so we need 2 in our answer. But then we're going to divide this by 100. I'm going to write this out one time so we can see it. So 406.25 divided by 100. And so what we can do here, and we've talked about this, but we'll say it again because some people, they still work this out. If we have 100, has a decimal point at the very end. If I move it back 2 places, that makes this number 1. So we're dividing by 1 now. But if I move the decimal on the outside, I have to move it on the inside. So 406.25 divided by 100 is the same as 4.0625 divided by 1. And anything divided by 1 is just itself. So 4.0625, that represents the amount we paid in tax, right? And then we can round this off. Money's only to 2 decimal places, so we can just drop this last part and say the tax is $4.06. And then we just, since it wants the total cost, we'd say we paid $65 for the coat. We also paid $4.06 in tax, which gives us a grand total of $69.06. So that's how much the total cost is. So anytime it's tax, or down here we talk about gratuity, which is a fancy word for tip, you just take the answer to your proportion and then add it back to the original amount. That'll be your answer if it wants total cost. Okay, so let's do number 6 then. So same idea. So it gives us 20%, so we can say 20 over 100 equals some dollar amounts. So we can say 20% is our, 20% is our gratuity, which is our tip, compared to $34, that was the whole bill. So we would put $34 on the bottom. We don't know how much the tip is yet. We're going to work it out. So we can cross multiply. So 34 times 20. I don't know why I picked a different color this time. Not too bad here. Skip the 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. And then if we want to divide that by 100, it's our last step. We're going to take our decimal. We're going to move it back 2 places. So 680 divided by 100 is $6.8. And that's our tip, plus $34 for the bill, which gives us a total cost of $40.80. That would be our answer. Okay. So number 7, they try to make it a little bit more complicated. They give you 2% here. But since they are both increasing the price, we can just combine them together. So what is 18 plus 6.5? Line up our decimals. We get 24.5%. And we can just call this what's added to the price. Okay. So we write our proportion. We have 24.5. Oh, now my colors are all off. Let me try this again. I'm writing them in red. 24.5% over 100. We can say this is tax plus tip. And then this is our bill again. So the bill was $28. We're not sure what this part is yet. That's what we're going to solve. So we cross multiply every time. Write proportions, solve proportions. 28 times. So 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 4 is 36. 16 plus 3 is 19. Go to our second number, bring down to 0. This is 10. This is 9. And this is 4. So that gives us 0, 6, 8, 6 with one decimal place. So 686. We're going to divide that by 100 to move this decimal back 2 places. So we have $6.86. That's our tax plus our tip. We also have our bill, which is $34. So when we add that together, oh, wait a minute. I gave away part of the answer. Where did I get 34 from? Oh, I was looking at this one. Ha ha ha. I'm not that smart. So $28 was the bill. Sorry. Now I'm on the right question. So 28 plus 686. 6, 8. And then the final is $34. My bad. My bad. Trying to go quick. Making silly mistakes. It's a lesson to be learned in that. Okay, so 8 and 9. 8 and 9 is the same idea, except now it's sale price. We're talking about discounts. So instead of adding to the price, we're going to be taking away. Okay, so it's still the same idea when we write it. So we have 25% on top over 100 equals some numbers. So this time we have discount compared to our original price. Okay, so we don't know what the discount is just yet. We do know the original amount was $42. So we're still going to cross multiply and divide. It's 42 times 25 is 10, 21. Bring down to 0 before we go to our second number. This is 4 and 8. Which gives us 1050. And then when we divide this by 100, we're going to move the decimal back 2 places. 1, 2. So we end up with a $10.50 discount. And when we compare that to our original price, so since it's on sale, which means the price is going down, so instead of adding the answer, we're actually going to subtract it. So 42 minus 1050, so we're going to borrow here. 10 minus 5 is 5. 1 minus 0 is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. So we get $31.50 sale price. Okay. So number 9, again, same thing. We're just repeating it until we get it. So 15% over 100 equals some numbers. We have our discount on top. We have our original amount on top. So this says 129.99. That's, I'm not doing that. I don't have time for that. I'm going to call this $130 even. Let's call it 130. If I'm off by 1 penny, whatever, it's 1 penny. So what is 130 times 15? And if it's a multiple choice test, I would encourage you to round off dollar amounts like this as well. So otherwise, that's so much extra work for 1 penny. Don't do that. So you have 0, 15, 6. Bring down 0, 130 times 1 is 130. Add them up. So 0, 5, 9, 1. Where did I get to decimal points move back 2 spaces for number 8? Okay, so we can talk about this again. So if we're dividing by 100, anytime we divide by 100, all it does is it moves our answer back. So 1950 divided by 100. If we did all this work, this is 195, bring it down, 950, decimal point, bring it down, 0, 5. Okay. So whenever we divide by 100, the net result of our division is it takes our decimal place and it just moves it, right? It was 1950, but now it's just, oh, hold on, we see it at 19.5, which is just right there. So the net result is we just moved it 2 places over. So anytime you have to divide by 100, that's why you can just move it 2 decimal places. So back to the question. So we have a $19.50 discount. And a $130 original. And then since it's a discount, we subtract. So this is going to be 0. If we borrow, this will become a 9. This will be 10. This will be 5. This will be 0, 1, 1. Yeah, and then if you want, since we rounded this up by 1 penny, we can round this down by 1 penny, which gives us a final price of $110.49, or if you call it 50 cents, whatever, just 1 penny. Oh, number 10. I'm so bored of doing this, but we're going to do this last 2. I'm going to skip 12 and 13 because I don't think I copied them down. But we can do this one. This is a good question. You might see this one on the test. So the case originally cost $25, is on sale 15% off. Determine the total cost if the tax is 6.75%. So this is a 2 proportion problem. Because there's 2 things happening to our price here. We have an original price, and then it's on sale, and then you have to pay tax. So we got to figure out what the sale price is, and then we have to add tax to that. Okay, so we're going to start with our discount. So 15% out of 100, and x over, and again, $24.99. Let's just call that 25 even. So we call this the discounts and original. Okay, so 25 times 15. This is 25, 12. This is 375. And then we divide by 100. So we're going to move the decimal over 2 places. So our discount is $3.75 from our original price of $25. So we're going to subtract. This is going to be $21.25. So that's our sale price. So when we write our second proportion, it's not the original price anymore. Now it's the sale price, and we need to calculate the tax. Okay, so it's not 25, it's 21.25. X on top, and then our tax rate, oh my goodness, is 6.75 over 100. Whose idea was it to put this question on here? They are a jerk. I think it was Miss Geyer. So if we multiply this out, why not? We're already here. 21.25 times 6.75. I'm going to bring my calculator, make sure I don't make a mistake here, because that'll be embarrassing. Hold on. Okay. So first number, 5 times 5, 25. This is going to be 12. This is going to be 6 and 10. When I go to my second number, I bring down 1 0. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 is 17. 7 plus 1 is 8. 7 times 2 is 14. When I go to my third number, I need to bring down 2 zeros. My UT orange here. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15. 6 plus 1 is 7. 6 times 2 is 12. So if I did this correctly, fingers crossed, it's 5, 7, 3, 14, 11, 12, 13, 4, 1. Oh my goodness. This is the worst problem ever. Whose idea was this? Let's see, 21.25 times. Oh, cool, I did it right. Okay. And then we got our decimal places. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the answer. All right. And then we still have to divide this by 100. All right. So we're going to move our decimal back 2 more places. And then the saddest part of all this work we just did, since we said it's money, and money only uses 2 decimal places, so all this at the end does not matter. So our tax on our cell phone case is $1.43 tax. Plus the sale price, 21.25. Gives us a final answer after all of that, 8,622. $22.68. Oh my goodness, that was tough. But maybe fun if we got it right. Be proud of ourselves. Something. Alright, then number 11. I don't think you're going to get a question like this, but this is a good thinking kind of question. This one says the TV's on sale for 20% off. If the sale price is $689.25, what is the original price? So this time, still have sales price to original. Okay. What makes this one harder equals is that we didn't pay 20%, right? It's 20% off. So we need to figure out what percentage did we actually pay. So we'd say if 100 is the original, and that's percentage, and 20 is the discount. So if we took the difference between them, we would get an 80% sales price as a percent. These are all percents. So instead of putting 20% here, we actually want to put 80%. Okay. So then if we cross multiply this and divide, let's say we did all that work. All right, we totally did. If anyone asks, we did. We get a sale price of $861.56. Okay, that's it. Let's see. Number 12 is just a discount question, so go back and look at 8 and 9, and 13 is also a discount question. And then once you get your answer, you would subtract $120 from it to figure out how much more money you needed. Okay, you'll be fine as long as you can write proportions successfully. And you remember, don't forget, if you see the word is, that's the part. If you see the word of, that's the whole thing. Don't forget that. Okay, good night.